look at certain models for both of these. Instead of going deep into one model, what I'm going to do is to give you a flavor of all these different models so that you know based on the situation which model to apply. When we are talking about modeling diffusion here, we'll be talking about the spreading of diseases on the one side and the spread of ideas, innovations, or behaviors on the other side. Okay. Let's say something is spreading on a network and you want to model it. How generally models are made? I want to make a theoretical model for something, some real world phenomenon. How am I going to proceed? I'm going to look at that real world phenomenon, look at certain rules of the game. I think it is how Feynman described physics. So he said nature is like a game of chess where everyone is making his moves. You watch those moves and then you model them to learn the game of chess. So the same thing you do in physics. Similarly, whenever we have to model real world phenomenon, I'm going to observe that phenomenon, look at certain rules there and bring them into picture. Again, assume that big boss house and something is spreading there. It can be a disease, it can be an idea. Arushi asks me, is there any other way to declare a person as most influential except PageRank? Yes, Arushi, there are a number of ways you can use. We are not dealing with them in this talk, but for your information, these are called centrality measures, and there are a number of them in addition to the PageRank. So one of them, which is the most accepted these days, it is called coreness. You might want to look it up. Okay, so I was here. There is this big boss house, and something is spreading here. Something is spreading, and I want you to create a model for this. So you can watch how something is spreading and come up with a model for this. What kind of a data would you require for it? So when something is spreading, first of all, I will need to see who in that big boss is a friend with whom so that I know the possible ways network exactly. So the first one is the network here. Who is a friend with whom so that I know who can pass on the disease to whom. And secondly, what else? So first is the network. It can be enemies if we are modeling some other kind of network. I don't want you to think too deep about Big Boss. You can think of it as any network, maybe one among you in a classroom, and then answer it. Exactly, it can be enemies in a sign network. You're correct. One is the network, definitely. Second is you would want to see the diffusion process, how it is happening, so that you can model it. Let's say, so I'll make a timestamp based data. Initially, this node is infected, this node infected, these two nodes here, these two nodes infected, this node, so on and so forth. And I can convert that into a model. The problem with this approach is, if I'm talking about, let's say, modeling of information, I can do this in the today's world because I have all this information about Facebook and Twitter. Not I have, but the companies have, and sometimes you can get access to that data. In the case of information, you might have a network such as a Twitter network, so you know who follows whom, who are friends, so on and so forth. And also you can say who retweets the information. You have both of this information. What is the network and how is the diffusion? If you want to look up at one such network, you can actually go to this Stanford dataset collection and refer to this Higgs boson network later on if you would want to do some experiment on it. You have a Twitter data there, and it also tells you regarding the Higgs boson meme who tweeted whom. So we have both of this data in the case of information. What about disease? What if I want to model the spread of corona this way? It's literally impossible. What is the network in the case of a disease such as a corona? Such as the corona, I'm sorry. So the network is definitely not the friendship network. There you call it a contact network. As soon as you come in contact with someone, you need an edge there. And this contact can be during any time, maybe a 2 hours flight or maybe a 15 minutes bicycle ride or auto ride with someone. Getting hold of this contact network is impossible. Even if somehow, let's say for a small city or a small village, you trace this contact network, assume that somehow I got this contact network, getting this diffusion data, again, that is very difficult. Assume I have 3 people in my family and all of these 3 people are suffering from flu. The next day I also caught flu. But how do I know which is the person who infected me? So this phenomenon doesn't have a visibility. In the case of information, you have both of this data. In the case of disease, you have none of this data. Yes, actually, that's also true. This contact network will keep changing at a very fast pace. Even the network here, which we made for information, it will also keep changing, but its pace is not that fast. Obviously, people make new friends on Facebook, maybe block some people, but still it's not that fast as in the case of contact network. It's very difficult to keep this entire contact network intact. So how do we model the spread of a disease if we do not have this contact network? People have been modeling the spread of diseases ever since 1800. And how do they do it in the absence of a contact network? We'll be looking at these two models for that. You might have heard of their name before. So one is the compartmental model, other is the branching model. These are just jargons. I'll discuss them soon. Okay. Then we'll talk about the diffusion models for ideas, innovations, or behaviors. Here again, we have two categories. One is the herding behavior, one is the information cascades. And these two have a very significant difference between them. Whenever we make an information, sometimes we make it based on what my friends are doing. Sometimes we do it based on what the entire world is doing. That's the difference between these two. Assume you have decided that you have to purchase an iPad. Now let's say which version of iPad to purchase. You might go on the iPad website and look at how many people have preferred which version, and based on that you decide. So there you are not taking any input from your friends. It is in general in this entire population which person prefers what, and you make a decision based on that. So that is your herding behavior. However, there are some things in which the world doesn't matter, only your friends matter. Let's say whether to attend a class or go on a bunk. So the world has no role in there. You'll have to see what your friends are doing, and based on that you decide. So that one comes into information cascades. We'll discuss 4 of these models briefly, one by one.